All right, well, welcome everybody. We're downtown here on the new Festival Square,
Great
newly
place.
renovated, out here to sample some beers for the 9th annual Downtown History and Beer Tour August edition. My name is Roy Pogrzewski. I'll be one of your guides for this beer tasting adventure. Along with me is my good friend George Cool, and we got historian to the stars, Belinda Croson, who will explain some of the most amazing stories of Lethbridge's history. So our first beer and our first stop on the location will be an amazing place downtown. In my opinion, best pasta salad in downtown. And we got Streatside Eatery. And we got a beer here today with us from the Superflux Brewing Company in Vancouver, BC. It's a West Coast IPA with an alcohol by volume of 6.5 to 7.5%, but for this particular one, it's 6.5%. So we're starting off pretty good, George, with the ABV.
We certainly are, Roy. And this is a beer that's got a bit of a history to it, because the Happiness just has recently opened their own new brewery, and so before that it was brewed by other companies. So that accounts for the discrepancy or the change between the IBUs. So.
Right, so sometimes you'd get it be 7.5 and you're like, woo!
That's right.
Wow, let's go, right? And so George poured it for us here, and you can see an absolutely beautiful color.
Yes, it's got a bit of a chill haze on it. It's a bit cool, but a haze in an IPA is pretty normal.
It's
anyway.
fantastic, yeah. And honestly, like the carbonation in that is just brilliant.
Very nice.
It's going to keep the head quite active throughout the sip.
It is,
and
there's a good head on it already.
Absolutely.
And this beer is renowned for having a good head retention, and that helps keep the flavor in the beer.
That's right. And if you ever want to do a game, and I don't recommend this at home, you can always try to drink your beer before the head goes away. To get the maximum amount of freshness.
That's if you take a bit of a nose on it, you can smell sort of a grassiness to it, and that's one of the characteristics of the aroma for this beer.
Yeah, and you got that nice citrus flavor that comes out too.
That's attributable to the hops.
Yeah, I guess the hops in this one would be West Coast hops. That would be the hop varieties,
I think
correct?
so, yes.
Oh my goodness, that's very smooth, very dangerous in my opinion.
Yeah, it's got
6.5, and it's just so smooth,
Wow.
so brilliant, adventurous even.
Well, and when it comes to the hops, they're very, very prominent. But on the other hand, we don't know what the exact hop count is because it's not indicated on the can, but it should be between 50 and 70, I think. So maybe around 50, 55.
That's quite balanced, I think. Yeah.
And it's because you want an IPA to be a bit on the bitter side.
Yeah, that's right. So, final thoughts, George, on our first beer at Streatside Eatery?
Wow, this is a very good beer. Nice choice.
Yeah, it was a good choice.
Yeah.
Good job, Downtown Beers Ed. Excellent work. Okay, well, we'll see you at our next stop, Tacos Made in Mexico, to sample our next beer.
There are two time periods in Lethbridge history when most of our downtown buildings were constructed. The first is prior to the First World War, from about 1906 to 1913, and the second period is after the Second World War, from about 1945 to 1955. And the fun thing today is you're going to visit two buildings that were built prior to the First World War and two buildings from the 1940s. You'll get to see those scents. We start in a 1940s building here at Streatside. Now, in the very early days of Lethbridge, this street, 8th Street South, which was Burdett Street at that time, was very much busy on Sundays. You could almost call it the early church street. Between 1st Avenue and 4th Avenue, there are actually four churches. St. Patrick's Roman Catholic, St. Augustine's Anglican, Wesley Methodist, and then Knox Presbyterian. Around the First World War, three of them moved to another location, and this street became more light industrial. We have Lethbridge Monument on this street since 1905. In 1919, Coca-Cola opened on this street. After the Second World War, the street again changes, and we start seeing more commercial buildings, and that's what the building is here today. This building opened around 1945 and was started as Lethbridge Appliances with B. Durfee and Alfred J. Calhoun. Now, one of the things about the buildings you're going to look at again, give a sense of all of them had an earlier history. And when you look at them, you can get a sense of that history. And one of the things you'll see on Streatside is that amazingly beautiful front window. So if you had an appliance store here and you were walking down the street, you could get a sense of the washing machines and the dryers and all the other appliances that were there. One of the beautiful things that Streatside did is they actually incorporated the names of the early streets. So as I said, you're on Burdett Street here at Streatside. And so when you're eating the food, you'll actually get a local history lesson in the names of some of the menu items.